Good afternoon, Michael Masserang here again, and today I'm here with a customer that called us specifically about odors inside the crawl space. This is a traditionally vented crawl space on this home. So today I'd like to continue our discussions on encapsulation versus controlled ventilation and the advantages of combining the two concepts into one hybrid program. This house of course, was encapsulated by the prior homeowner, and these folks bought the home last year. As you can see, the bushes here, a little bit bigger than I'd like to see. They should be cut back to normal sizes. Normally, within 5 feet of the foundation, I like to see bushes no taller than your belt, and that will allow proper ventilation as well as keeping foundation problems from developing on the home. And we're coming around the backside, a real pretty lot, wooded lot. So certainly keeping gutters cleaned on a regular basis, and keeping gutters, of course, continuing to maintain this underground piping system to full functionality will help to keep the crawl space dry. But as we proceed over to the crawl space entrance here, we'll go over some features that was done by the encapsulation company and what we're doing to make this system smarter and more efficient. As you can see, the guys are working today to deploy a controlled ventilation system, and I'll light it up here a little bit so we can see. We can see that this is a 20 mil, and the company also put spray foam on the walls. You can see here one of the intake fans. And as I continue around, you can see where this company spray foamed everything. And the homeowner is noticing a pretty pungent odor. And what we found in these types of situations where the crawl space is fully encapped, that these spray foam resins do have an odor that they off-gas, as well as the thicker the liner. Certainly we're noticing that the VOCs that can off-gas from these liners also can fill up the crawl space, but also penetrate up into the living area. And so we're doing more and more of these as people kind of find out that by cutting off the outside air completely from the crawl space environment, whether it's the construction materials, the wood here, the spray foam that was applied, or the liner, it could be a combination of all those things, or even some soil gas release, gets noticed by these homeowners. Today, when I got into the crawl space, we found this commercial dehumidifier to be running at 45%. And so, that is way too dry. And I'll show you here in a minute, the wood moisture level of this crawl space is 5%. And we'll show that here in a minute. But yeah, this is a good dehumidifier, and it was recently replaced. We found out that the prior dehumidifier burned up under its warranty time. And based on the fact that this was set on 45%, when I got here, this unit was well on its way to compressor failure as well, because these units do not operate well in crawl space environments, especially in the winter, without being set at the proper setting. So what we're doing, converting to controlled ventilation, this unit will be hybridized and it'll be used as a backup system. The fan system will be the primary source of the program, and this will be a supplemental program. So this dehumidifier should last 10-15 years now by changing it to a dew point fired piece of equipment, and also integrating it into the control so that it doesn't have to run that much. We'll look over here. A couple other features of the system that we want you to see. The Atmox controlled ventilation system is a system I've been using for 8 years or so. It's a great way to retrofit a sealed crawl space back to a ventilated concept and not really changing the encapsulation qualities all that much. Certainly, you know, the liner stays the same, everything stays the same, except here we're crawling to an exhaust port. This is a triple exhaust. We have 6 locations around the house. We have 3 intakes on the far side. We have 3 exhausts here on this side. It's a 3,000 square foot crawl space. As you can see, you know, there's just a lot of room in here. So, you know, to completely cut off the airflow, what's happened over time is this homeowner smells what we call the cat urine effect or the swimming pool liner effect. And I hear it described either way. And if you search that on the web, you'll come up with, you know, people around the country that are really having problems with their sealed systems because of air quality. They call the encapsulation company. The encapsulation company sends out a tech. They play with the settings on a dehumidifier. They do a few things, but really they don't have any solution to get rid of the smell besides excuses. I am seeing some encapsulation companies now deploying 1 exhaust fan to try to change the environment, which, you know, just does not have enough CFM power. I've also seen radon mitigation companies make the claim that a radon mitigation unit can get rid of this odor, which is completely ridiculous, because a radon mitigation unit is sucking air beneath the liner. So, and they just don't have enough power or enough influence or air changeover to be able to get rid of an odor or a smell in a crawl space. So this crawl space is equipped with 11 fans to help move either the dry air coming in from outside or the supplemental program with the dehumidifier. And this is a dead corner fan. This dead corner fan, I can swivel in any direction I wish to move the air towards our exhaust. Exhaust to my right. We have an exhaust straight ahead. And then we have an exhaust on the south wall down at that end of the house, which is the far end of the crawl space. So again, you know, spray foam, I've done spray foam in the past. I've kind of gotten away from it because homeowners do talk about the smell. And you can also see here, this stuff gets everywhere when you spray foam. It gets all over the ductwork, it gets all over the liner. It makes a mess in here. Not to mention, you're supposed to have a 3-inch termite gap at the top so that termite inspectors can do their inspections. One fallacy is you know, that the 3-inch gap will allow all the tubes to get spotted. Well, that's not true. The termite tubes actually can be behind the spray foam, and they can burrow up into the sill plate, and the homeowner won't even know it for years. So the spray foam really limits the ability of the termite professional to be able to do those inspections, and some companies will even cancel their bonds because of that, because it's so difficult to be able to spot the termite tubes. So something to think about. You know, you can use spray foam insulation to insulate a curtain wall, or in this case a block wall, solid block wall, but you can also re-insulate the subfloor, or you can choose insulation board. But insulation board has the same limitation as far as being able to spot termite tubes, and what they do is they burrow right into the stuff and make a connection between the ground up to the sill plate. So I personally like to re-insulate with fiberglass bat myself because it offers 2 advantages. It offers the insulative barrier underneath the subfloor, but also it's an acoustic value. I have customers that tell me all the time after they've removed the insulation, they can hear the creaking and popping, the shrinkage of the ductwork, which happens seasonally. So people with sensitive hearing can hear when the insulation's been pulled. So there's an acoustic value to having fiberglass bat in between a floor system. So don't always think that you have to, do these expensive spray foam protocols or insulation board protocols. So, but you can see, this is a fairly, the company, overall did a good job here. It just smells up the house. This homeowner was insistent that we drive out and handle this issue, and it's 2.5 hours from the office. So we are getting more and more calls, and we are happy to drive a certain distance to retrofit one of these sealed systems to control ventilation. So certainly you're welcome to call us if you're inside of our market. But yeah, just some things to know. Just trying to educate the public. And so if you're not alone, if you got a smell in your house and you're getting a song and dance from the installer that puts your encapsulation in about the smell, you think about it, there is no way to get rid of an odor unless you ventilate. And with these 11 fans that we're putting on this protocol, we're operating by a factor of dew point now, making it very efficient. The fans run on a factor of low voltage, saving the customer a lot of money on power consumption. Not to mention preserving the lifespan of the expensive commercial dehumidifier. And all this is done by a factor of dew point. The system is equipped with a few features to even double check safety guard. A lot of these companies will use relative humidity monitors as a way to judge whether a crawl space is good. Well, the truth of the matter is relative humidity is a terrible way to judge the condition of a crawl space. A crawl space is actually better suited to be judged on a factor of dew point and wood moisture. And I'm going to crawl around here to see the wood moisture sensor that you can see here, which is a feature of this program. Unlike a relative humidity controlled space, this is a wood moisture sensor. So an ideal range for a crawl space is 12 to 14%. When you take a relative humidity reading, that can swing from different times a year, and just because you have a 70% relative humidity doesn't reciprocate to a horrible crawl space. The wood moisture sensor being at 12 to 14% is what we want it to be. I would say get down to 8. You can get to, it's fine, but any drier is too dry. And also if you get above 18%, that is where you can start to grow microbial development. So today, again, as we discussed, we got here, the dehumidifier was full blown, set on 45% on a winter day. And what we have is a super dry floor system. I can't even, this isn't even registering. We're at like 3-4% wood moisture. There is no reason to be running these dehumidifiers in the wintertime. So if you're thinking about doing an encapsulation, understand the fallacies of these programs. And often the settings will be intentionally set to say 45% relative with the intent of running the dehumidifier to a degree where it burns up and the customer has to buy another dehumidifier. So another expense that the customer would have to deal with. So, but again, we certainly wanted to show you a few features of the Atmox program. They're installing the B-Box hub is where all the connections go, and you can see they've done a lot of changes to that with this year's upgrade. Makes it easy to install, as well as providing a common sense way to get things done here. So that's the B-Box where all the fans are connected to, including the wood moisture sensor, as well as now the dehumidifier will now be controlled by the B-Box, and we've got the controller set upstairs in a maintenance closet. So, yeah, we appreciate you joining us today. Pretty day today with really good air, and saying hi from the dog. We hope that you learned a little bit more about encapsulation and controlled ventilation. If you have any questions on that, you can reach out to us by phone, send us an email. The information at the bottom of your screen is here for your convenience. We'd love to hear from you. So if you're in the Charlotte market, if you're in Greensboro, the Triad area, or if you're in South Carolina, we're definitely interested in talking to you if you have a stinky crawl space, and if you have an encapsulated crawl space that you're frustrated with,